one family, one people, one planet, one love, one family, one people, one planet, one love, one family. Good morning and welcome to SoulCall Sunday. My name is Lisa Ferraro. I am the founder and spiritual director of SoulCall Global. And wherever you are joining us from this morning, good morning, Jane, from the sunshine. We welcome you and let us know where you're joining us from. We love that, as you just said, and just shouting out to people. It's so fun to know where you are. You know where we're coming from the cosmos to your living room or wherever you are situated watching us this morning. We thank you for joining us this morning as we explore and continue into the theme of Onward, the theme for February. And today's conversation is going to be around the lyrics to a song Erika Luckett and I wrote, inspired by the poetry of Rumi, and it's called One in Soul. And if you say it too fast, it'll sound like 1 inch soul, and that's not it. It's one in soul, you and I. And what that idea of oneness, I don't want to say what it means. I don't want to give meaning to it for you, but I want to invite you into the question of what oneness, what the experience of oneness is, more than the definition of it. We like to define things linearly and think we get it then. If I can tell you what it means by definition, it doesn't necessarily mean I know what that feels like. So we're going to explore the experience of oneness and to experience the oneness of all of the energy in creation as it is, woven through our soul's experience, our soul journey, pulling in the energy from around us and having it coalesce with the energy within us. We invite the practice of Qigong, which is an ancient Chinese practice of meditation and meditating with energies and understanding how it moves in our body. And I'm going to reference that a little bit in the song too. But this morning we invite Deborah Weisenberger-Lippitz to lead us in the experience of participation with Qi, with energy. Welcome, Deborah.
All right, we continue on with an external experience with an internal, deeper understanding, opening everything up to merge us together as one. Please look forward. Again, from the center of the head, expand to the back, all the way to infinite space at the same time. Understanding the front expands to infinite space, above, below, and both sides, expanding to infinite space. Going out, and every space in between fills in a huge orb from within us, merging in infinite space, points of light in all directions. From there, gather all the healing Qi, love, good wisdom, information. Now pull it back, contracting gently into the center of the head, and very gently close the eyes. The center of the head now begins glowing, merging with our holographic, holistic, holy mind, becoming so bright and clear. It expands, integrates throughout, from tip to toe, so bright, so clear. All boundaries, all limitations dissolve and merge with infinite space as one. Inside, outside are the same high vibration, No boundaries, no limitations. Such a high vibration, bright, clear light for healing, well-being, balancing. Allow the chi arms to move in front of the body or not. Using your holographic holy mind. Open in all directions this huge bright orb from inside. Opening, opening, expanding, expanding, expanding. Then gathering all the healing chi, love, good information, all directions, gathering back, gathering, gathering, gathering. And again, no boundaries, no limitations, effortlessly opening. Kai, and gathering, absorbing. Kai, opening even more. Kai, 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 Kai. Now inside, outside, the same. Very high vibration, healing, uniting, transforming, balancing. Then slowly bringing all into Du Chi, the navel, hands on top, Lao Gong to Lao Gong to Du Chi. Inside very clear, high vibration. Then relax the hands to the side and very gently open the eyes, smiling from the inside out with greater understanding, and give thanks.
It's always so refreshing. Thank you, Deborah. And we are excited to share some fabulous news that Deborah has just created a 6-series. It's a 6 video series of Qigong practice. It's going to be part of our wellness program, which we're going to launch very soon here, I think in March. So you'll be able to download the video series of Qigong practices. Helen Yee is going to do one for us also. Natalia is going to do a series on yoga, and I'll do some guided meditations. And it'll be part of our wellness program so that you can tune in anytime and practice and deepen your practice of any of these modalities to help awaken and to stay awakened in the oneness and the connection with infinite possibility, infinite love, and the truth of who you are. The song we have this morning for the opening song is a song called One in Soul. And I welcome you if you're just joining us. Please let us know where you're joining us from. And thank you for joining us. If you're watching us later, as many of you do watch us later during the week, we thank you for watching us also. And we ask, if you haven't already done so, to sign up for our newsletter. If you go to soulcallglobal.org and sign up for our newsletter, you'll find out about all the wonderful things we have to offer you in support of creating a conscious global community of which you are a part. And so, and if you already are signed up for our newsletter, please feel free to share it with friends. It's always loaded with lots of really valuable, insightful, sparky kinds of articles, visuals, things to take into your life during the week, which could help you enjoy your experience a little bit more, perhaps. But we're here for you. And so we thank you for that opportunity, and thank you for sharing us with your friends on social media. Maybe just do that right now. If you're watching, say, hey, I'm watching this really cool thing. It's really awesome. There's a Victrola in the background. Say whatever you'd like. But we're going to start this morning then. Before the talk, I want to play a song that Erika and I performed in Melbourne, Australia at the Parliament of the World's Religions. And it's called One in Soul. And it kind of became the theme of the event. It started popping up different places. People were putting images to it and sending it about, and it would show up in the lobby of the great convention center of which we were participating. And so it was the theme One in Soul, because of all these various religions. What's the common theme? And this was it. It's a little pixelated, and it's not the greatest video quality, but it's kind of the essence of it. It's kind of like how God's light is so spread out in the universe that you don't even see it. There's enough space in the video to allow yourself to dream into a possibility of what oneness means for you. Please enjoy.
We want to close this portion of this morning's concert before we have the joy of welcoming Om Shanti Om to stage. We wrote a song dedicated to this Parliament of the World's Religions, and this is the world premiere of this particular song. It's one that, of course, the poetry is all Rumi, and it's our honor and privilege to share it with you today. And we hope that you join us at the end as we sing One in Soul, you and I.
One in soul, you and I. one sound, different to idle words. The parents of heaven are cracking their sugar as we laugh together, one and soul, you and I. One and soul, you and I. One and soul, you and I. Even more amazing, in this very moment, you and I, in this very moment, are in Iraq and Afghanistan. Cape Town and New Orleans, Lhasa and Mumbai, New York and one and soul, you and one and soul, you and I. One and soul, you and I. One and soul, you and I. To the people all over the world, we are one and soul, you and I. Get the person next to you and sing it if you like. One and soul, you and I. To the one God of all. One and soul, you and I. One and soul, you and I.
Thank you very much. One in soul, you and I. What does that conjure for you? What were you feeling when you were listening to that song? It's more about that essence of it. I'm just going to break down the lyrics. We were so taken with the lyric to this, we couldn't wait to sit with it, with the lyric, and feel the energy of what Rumi was immersed in when this song, this lyric came through. One of the interesting things about 13th century mystic poet Rumi, a Persian poet, is he would whirl in ecstasy, much like the whirling dervishes, for those of you who aren't familiar with Rumi. And when he would whirl, he would recite these quatrains, this beautiful poetry that we just experienced. So there was an energy present. And a dervish is, once again, a term that is a Turkish word that means threshold. And they believe the threshold between worlds is the human body and our triune nature. We are grounded on the earth, and we also the material part of us here, the material form, but then the formless, which informs the form. And so what would happen with Rumi is, as he would whirl in ecstasy and recite this poetry, there would be scribes that would follow him around. There were 4 of them, and it would come so quickly. One scribe would write the first line, the second scribe would write the second, third, and fourth, and they would just keep doing this. And I often think how fun that might be to have a scribe following me around, writing everything I say. It could be fun sometimes, right? Depending on what's happening. But the point there is, there was an energy that was happening, and it wasn't as if Rumi was sitting poring over a piece of work and trying to get into rhyming, or he wasn't laboring over it with his intellect. He was opening to it with his soul and allowing himself to be what he would also call a reed flute, like a hollow bamboo flute of the ney, N-E-Y, an instrument in Turkey, just to allow the song of soul to play through his being. And he would write it down in words. And I use the word play through his being because what would happen with Erika and with me, when we would sit with the selections Kabir Helminski, the sheikh, would give us, we would sit, and one or the other of us would start to hear the melody, a vibrational, a frequency that just kind of lifted off the page. We would just hear the song of the spheres, and we would start to sing it to one another. And that's how these songs came into being. So with that in mind, in particular, as we move through the lyrics, I just want to walk through the lyrics, the lyrics of the talk today. One in Soul, keeping in mind the Parliament of the World's Religions, where we debuted this song, and why we chose, we did an entire concert at the Parliament. We were chosen to do that, but why we saved this one for the end. So the lyrics start off, a moment of happiness, sitting on the veranda, the 2 of us here, but one in soul, you and I. It speaks to a divine realization that if you ever just sat with someone where you feel like, I remember the highest compliment I've ever paid anyone is, being with you is like being by myself. We could completely be alone and in our togetherness and be completely fused in our oneness, where there is no separation, where this dance between, where it seems like I begin and you end, and you end and I begin, that infinity loop with another human being is such a precious opportunity. And most of it is because our ego self, how we lead, doesn't push into the other. It just kind of coalesces. We just kind of find this, it's like ingredients in a pot of sauce or something. It always comes back to food, as you know. Just allowing it to cook. The secret is allowing it to just be together, be itself in the pot with other things, to allow it to fully express what it is and who you are as a soul. Then back to the lyric, we feel the flowing of the waters of life, the beauty of the garden, one in soul, you and I. We feel the flowing of the waters of life. It's the internal waters of just the blood, but it's the energy in the blood. And it's the energy that moves the heart muscle and powers the brain and lights up the senses. If we look out in nature right now, it looks like nature's asleep because we're not seeing the evidence of the energy, because we're so used to using our senses to declare when something is alive or when something is there or not there. If we can't see it, touch it, taste it, hear it, it doesn't exist. Well, just like this poetry existed in a timeless land, and the music was there also, the energy of the wave, of the motion of this beautiful lyric was there too. We were able to get in tune with where Rumi was when this came through, and also take some of the music and pull it through us as our hollow beings. So feeling the flowing of the waters of life, it's that internal energy, the beauty of the garden. you feel it interiorized first, just like when we look out at the burst of spring, it's in there. The beauty of the garden, one in soul. When we work at the soul level, we could see what's to come. Not entirely, but we know that's just Michel Legrand, just as the tree is sure its leaves will reappear. We know its emptiness is just a time of year. We know spring is coming. And so this is what this is describing here. We feel that flowing, that energy of the interiorized, the chitta, the heart, the magnetized spirit. The stars will be watching us in one form upon the earth and another in a sweet, timeless land. So this gives a nod to quantum physics. The stars will be watching us in one form upon the earth. There's a theory that when stars burn out, like humans, when humans transition from their physical beings, there's a black hole, and it opens up a portal, an opportunity to go between the worlds, to become the dervish energetically, consciousness-wise, to allow ourselves to let go and go through and experience. The stars will be watching us in one form upon the earth. That's each other. We are the stars upon the earth, and another in a sweet, timeless land. You know, a very interesting and wonderful opportunity today is, I'm going to weave this in, our Signs and Symbols of Our Ancestors book. Can you see it? Is here. And this whole book is about just that part of the stars will be watching us in one form upon the earth and another in a sweet, timeless land. It's allowing for this communication between the worlds, whether somebody's embodied or not. And it's not channeling. It's a heightened sense of awareness. It's where all the music is. It's where all the lyrics are. It comes from the heart that is magnetized with a pureness that wants to find its unique expression, which is what SoulCall Global has been founded upon. And yes, Natalia's reminding you, you can get Signs and Symbols of Our Ancestors. I'm trying to get it in the light. There it is. Today, if you join us from 1 to 3, but you can get it at soulcallglobal.org/armature publishing. And it's so exciting. We're excited about that. So the stars will be watching us in one form upon the earth and another in a sweet, timeless land. And then we start singing. There's nothing to do but sing when your soul feels that connection to all that is. It's what the Qigong practice weaves in, is that you can experience this. You don't have to be a guru or a master teacher even. Some of us come to show and teach or just create opportunities for others to experience. That's what musicians do, poets. Open us up to the world you can't see, but you can feel it. Beneath the thin crescent moon, this is one of my favorite lines. Beneath the thin crescent moon, each of us unselved. We tried really hard to make sure we were enunciating that word properly so that you could get it. Beneath the thin crescent moon, each of us unselved, indifferent to idle words, indifferent to idle words. Each of us unselved, meaning, of course, letting go of the ego. Under the thin crescent moon, by the light of the moon, there's an energy, and you can tune into it and become unselved. And when you let go of the self, you become this pure, radiant, just soul qualities. None of the learned behaviors that are the overlay of things that aren't really useful in all occasions, but soul qualities are. If we could start living from those soul qualities and soul callings, the world starts to shift because we're magnetizing different energetics and different opportunities and possibilities for our lives and for us to experience incarnate. So we're never trying to get rid of the body altogether. We're trying to supercharge it to be able to hold a spiritual charge at a vibration that's high-pitched enough to be able to hear like a dog whistle, to hear those and see those things, sounds, resonances others might miss. Indifferent to idle words. These are words with no energy. Maybe you've heard it in movies or something where somebody says an idle threat. It's you're just talking, but you're not saying anything that is pulling anything. So indifferent to idle words means nothing in the material world can really get you or strike your fancy anymore. When you start living in this other place, we're not tossed about the ocean. We've become the ocean itself. And we can notice when something has a spiritual charge to it. Indifferent, idle words have no energy, no chitta. They're without heart. There's no magnetism to them, nothing to draw you to it. And think about in our lives right now, how often we are exposed to idle words, things that don't really supercharge that great vibration. The times we experience life incarnate and feel like all the lights are on, we just feel amazing. Think of what those experiences are, or maybe those are words you read or you heard somebody sing to you. Those are not idle words. Those are magnetized with the spirit and the divine consciousness of love. Like magnetized, like, the old way of recording music was on tape, 2-inch tape. It was magnetized to the tape itself. And to me, I can hear, I know Natalia can too. We talk about this. We can hear the difference in the quality of the recording. To me, it sounds like soft butter on warm bread. It's just so warm and delicious. You just want to eat it. It all comes back to that. Yeah. So just think of those things that are just, oh God, that just woke me up into a whole other realm of experiencing life. So indifferent to idle words, the parrots of heaven are cracking their sugar as we laugh together, one in soul, you and I. The parrots of heaven are cracking their sugar as we laugh. So it's that magnetic thing, what we put out, the parrots of heaven sing it back to us and crack sugar. It's the sweetest sound you can hear as we laugh together. The divine laughter of 2 souls, 10 souls, a world of souls, realizing the magnetic charge of divine word, divine song, and how it illuminates everything around us. The parrots of heaven are cracking their sugar as we laugh together. Think of when you laugh with friends and get that image in your mind, like the parrots of heaven are cracking their sugar as we laugh together. You and I, one in soul, you and I. It's such a sweet image of realization, and it loves when we laugh. It loves when we laugh, and it gives us more to laugh about. And then this last part, after a little break, was an even more amazing than being here together. All of us, just even more amazing than being here together on the veranda, you and I. You and I, in this very moment, while we're sitting here, we're also in Iraq, in Afghanistan, New York and Jerusalem, Lhasa and Mumbai, and Cape Town and New Orleans. There were, back when we wrote this song, we added that little piece to it because it was the realization of even more amazing than us being here together. What are the chances that we would incarnate at the same time and experience this divine realization in one another? We're also, because we're one in soul, we're everywhere and everyone and everything. Just like the energy of the earth, you can't see it, but the whole garden will burst forth in spring. You can't see the energy, but the energy that's going to grow plants here in my backyard, I'm doing this because it's behind me, is the same energy that's going to push up plants and trees and flowers across this continent in California. It's going to do it in Europe. It's the same energy of the beautiful planet Earth that grows whatever we place in it. It's one energy, one planet. And we are one in soul. We are one in that soul energy. And just as The example of nature gives us so beautifully. It's so easy to see. Literally, each expression is unique, but it comes from the same essence. The same energy grows all of this different forms of expression. Therefore, we all have a sacred place. We all have a sacred bond. We all are in agreement, whether we realize it or not. And I say it like this, and I mean no disrespect to, what I'm going to say is the commodification of consciousness is a very serious thing to take note of and to recognize when you're being marketed to just for the sole purpose of earning money. Money is an energy, and here at SoulCall, we welcome your energy of money. We'll take as much as you would like to give us, because we will direct it into avenues which help people express their souls and awaken to live from this place of one in soul. So there's nothing good or bad about it. It's just recognizing when we're getting caught up in somebody else's idea and not following our soul's calling to become fully alive, fully expressed like the tree. One of our songs, Reflection, it's like, as the tulip expresses its tulipness, you don't see a tulip trying to be a rose. You don't see a rose trying to be a tulip or an iris or whatever else you can think of. It is divine and right. So that's what this song is about. And if you just listen to it more, you can find it on YouTube. You just allow it to ring through, and allow yourself, as you're experiencing life this day and this week, to recognize when you're in that place of peace and calm, and you just want to laugh out loud because you feel so happy. Inside, you feel that bliss. We were talking about joy and happiness a couple of weeks ago. When you're feeling that inner joy, and allowing yourself to grow out from the inside out. And it was interesting putting that song together at the Parliament of the World's Religions, looking around at thousands of different religions, philosophies, paths to the infinite that have been around for a long time, and some are newer. Like SoulCall is the Beyond Thought, the No Thought movement. We're starting our own place on the growing edge. This is who we are, because it's all about individuals, your soul's calling, not to form some hierarchy where we try to keep people stuck in a place. All of these paths have their place, and they're beautiful. Well, what we recognized was, in all the beautiful and different ways the infinite showed up in these various paths that were so gorgeous, and the people were luminous and wonderful. The one thing they had in common, which is why we saved that song to the end, was we are all, on our various paths, we are all one in soul, one in that essential space. And if it's anything, it is the gift we get to appreciate, which is the gift of love. So let's take this into a meditation for just a few moments and enjoy this song called The Gift of Love, and allowing this one in soul experience to fill your being. One in soul. Hey, welcome back. I told you there was a surprise guest, and I was surprised yesterday. But please welcome Reverend Christy Hardwick.
Hey there.
Is here in Columbus, Ohio. Got the most beautiful email in the morning. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It was just an inspiration. And I was sitting there with my wonderful wife, Jane, and I said, I wish I could beam myself to Columbus. She said, why don't you just fly? So I wanted to be here for the book launch of the amazing love effort between Natalia and Lisa that put together this great collection of stories and the gorgeous illustrations. Just so proud of the two of them and just so touched by the beautiful light that it's bringing to the world already. And I know there's a launch today. So I just decided I wanted to be here in person. So hello, SoulCall.
Yeah. Thank you for coming. It's so, talking about being with tribe, it's such an interesting, when we're with our people, it's just boom, and then just growing more people. And it's just, I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you.
It's such a great, and it's so fast, but Christy's going to be joining me at AIAM between 1 and 3 p.m. today for the release of Signs and Symbols of Our Ancestors. That's at 6685 Doubletree Avenue here in Columbus, Ohio. And I've got plenty of books. If you ordered your book and you want to come and pick it up, that would be great. And there are extra copies if you'd like to buy them for gifts, which I know you're going to want to, because they're just so, you're going to want to eat it, right?
Yes.
Seriously.
I just was, touching the book and looking at it and all this. There's sparkles on the front. So for me, that's really important. There's sparkles on the front. I love that. It's so amazing. And this idea you talked about, one in soul. And I don't often get to be in the same room with you. That doesn't happen that often. But all the time we're one in soul. And I'm one in soul with every person who's with SoulCall. So sometimes we get to be in the room together. Sometimes it's on Zoom together. But we're always just together.
Yeah.
So that feels really good.
Beautifully said. Yeah. So if you're in town, 1 to 3, and what's going to happen from 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, I want to thank Helen and the people at AIAM for donating the space for us to do this today. That's always such a treat. We'll be on a Zoom call. You'll be live. If you're in the room, obviously you'll be live with us, but Natalia's going to Zoom in, and several of the authors are able to make it today as well. And each will read their piece of their story, their sacred story that is in the book. And we're just going to be celebrating together. And I'm getting so excited about it. So join us if you can. If you can't come in person, there's a link on the website, soulcallglobal.org. You can click on the link and join us via Zoom. And we'll be done at 3. You'll be home in plenty of time to watch the Super Bowl, which in honor of Black History Month, we are so privileged to know the family of Will Willis, who was a Cleveland Browns football player. And Will Jr. is a friend of ours. And Linda Willis, his wife, wrote this fantastic book called Papa's Ring. And it's today, during the Super Bowl, right after the pre-game song, Will and his brother Clem and several other descendants of the first 4 African-American football players in the NFL are going to be recognized and honored. And so congratulations. And if you haven't gotten this book, Papa's Ring, it's about the time when, believe it or not, no offense, but this goes out to Mike Baca, believe it or not, the Cleveland Browns actually did win a Super Bowl before the Super Bowl actually started. It was in 1950. But there's a ring that gets passed down and talked about. And Will Willis, the trailblazer, who was one of the first African Americans in the NFL.
It's so beautiful. And it's that idea of that shift in consciousness. And you talk about one in soul. It takes time sometimes for things to be revealed.
Yeah.
But a lot of the movement around Black lives has really woken up in people different ideas. And they think about, how can I connect to that history? What is it that I'm missing? What do they see that I don't see? And so out of the Colin Kaepernicks and the things that cost and the things that were problematic, sometimes beautiful things spring up. Yeah. So now these people are being honored, and it's always time. It's always time for honoring.
Yeah. It's a really good point, because it's like to go in when the majority of the people on the planet start to live from a purified heart, the chitta, that magnetized heart that pulls more of the soul qualities in. Everyone will get flipped into the consciousness of the planet. If you're born on to the planet at that time, you will start living and operating that way, because other things won't come in that push against that and preclude you from feeling it. But then you'll know what is yours to do, like that Kristen Kaepernick, like being able to set an example
Right.
for the people who aren't there yet. Then they go within and realize.
Right.
So what is yours to do, and who are you to be for the rest of us? And so
Yes, and even if there's consequences at the beginning that seem like they're not positive for you, you don't know what seed that's planting and how it can be positive for the whole.
Yeah.
So we can just hold out that hope and
Yeah.
know that when we're doing good and we're following our heart, we're following that vibration, that it's coming from the same source, and it will ultimately be good.
And so we thank you for your contributions. No amount is too great or too small. We are in the midst of a food drive, and we've expanded our scope from not just the immediate Columbus area. We found people who are in need in the Athens area, but in the Chillicothe area as well. And so next Sunday, I'll be speaking live at Unity of Columbus on Mays Road, and that's where we're going to, the pickup location. If you know someone who's experiencing food insecurities, next Sunday, the 20th, from 10 to 2 o'clock is the food pickup. But in the meantime, drop off food donations at And Juice Company in Clintonville. All this information is on the website, or send your monetary donations. We're going to do a big run to some of the places where we pick up food, and every dollar that is earmarked for that goes right to feeding families. And even though we're not hearing about that so much in the news, there are definitely people who are experiencing food insecurities every single day in this country. So thank you for your contributions. Thank you for sending your prayers at soulcallglobal.org. We appreciate being able to pray with you. And when Christy was talking about the seeds of consciousness, I think it's a perfect time to invite Natalia in to tell us a little bit about the seed conference you attended in honor of, hi, Natalia.
Hello there, we're missing you.
I miss you too, but I don't, because you're here. You are.
There you are, exactly.
It's delicious. What a beautiful two of you.
I got you.
Yeah, I got to perform at the opening ceremonies for this organic seed growers conference. About 1,000 people attending, talking about planting seeds of consciousness. It's pretty incredible. Based on the understanding that we have all this abundance, we have this planet that's giving it to us, and working for food justice and food equity, and making sure that everybody has access to healthy, beautiful food. So it was an incredible honor. It went on for a week, and I attended yoga taught by an incredible Native woman and a Native American woman. It was just gorgeous. It was a real honor. Like today will be a real honor.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So 1 to 3, we're so excited. Congratulations. We're going to be celebrating together this Signs and Symbols of Our Ancestors. It's our first book published through Armature Publishing, and we're just so thrilled. Natalia did all the illustrations. They're phenomenal, and the stories are just so. But the illustrations, you did a great job.
They fly off the page. You know?
Yeah,
They do. They absolutely do. And you two set a standard that is so exciting because, anyone who's thinking about a book, or, when I wrote a book and it's already in production because it wasn't quite the time to add new authors to Armature since you're, flying your first book out.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're thinking about publishing something, what a beautiful attendance to quality and beauty. It's just amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah, we're really excited to have this. It's providing a framework for the language of the soul. That's the full tagline of our Armature publishing.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
building our team and knowing that as lifetime DIY, the do it yourself, the yourself is never yourself. So we are a team here at SoulCall.
That's great.
Amassing more of our team to create this
That's
beauty.
hit me right here. I'm getting giggly, like I was talking about. Like when you hear it, it's just this divine truth you're speaking, because it's pure. Like we really are so sincere in our efforts. And look who our friends are, all of you.
Mhm.
Thank you for joining us. And
Must have done something good.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go. I'll see you guys
See
later.
you later. And we're gonna do maybe just a 10-minute rewind because we're gonna get ready to get ourselves over to the book launch. So if you want to join us on SoulCall Sunday Rewind, jump on there quickly, and we're gonna say hello. And hopefully, I know some of you joining us from Canada and California aren't gonna be able to make it unless you flew in last night too, and I don't know it. But just know that wherever you are on the planet, we appreciate you. You are one in soul with all of it. And
you are loved.
Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings.
One family, one people, one planet, one love.